Y'all want all the details on how I did this set, which was inspired by this AI nail photo I found on Pinterest. So let's get into everything, and I mean everything from the products I used to the techniques I used. I figured the best way to do this was to go nail by nail. So we'll start with the thumb and we'll end with the pinky. And if after this video you still have questions, please feel free to drop them down below in the comment section and I will answer as fast as I can. And I do have a list of everything that I used with links attached. It's in my bio. All right, so let's get into this. Starting off with the thumb, I used this pat gel to give that smoky gray look. I used it on the whole nail and I only did one coat. This is what we call a pat gel, which is perfect for auras or gradients. And I especially like this product because it is a mousse product. So it's a little bit lighter, a little bit airier. It's not gonna be sticky and it cures matte, which is perfect for layering because it doesn't pick up that much like sponge debris. Pat the whole nail, stick it in the lamp, cure for 60 seconds. Then I use a different type of pat gel. This is the product that I use, and I use the black color from that product. It's a much more pigmented type of pat gel that does have a much more stickier type of consistency, but it was perfect to get that deep outer perimeter of the nail. So I take a new sponge with this new gel and I pat the gel on the perimeter of the nail, keeping most of the pigment there on the outskirts and then diffusing it towards the center of the nail. You might be good with one coat of this, but I think two is what I used for this set. Then once that's done, we're gonna go into the chrome art part of this nail. This is the product I used for this specific chrome art. I used the black one, but the white one is also freaking amazing. It gives a lighter look to whatever chrome color you use, but usually for an edgier look, like a harsher look for the chrome, I like to use the black one. I typically use the white one for gold. Now, before you go in with this gel, you need to go in with a chrome powder resistant matte top coat. I used this one specifically for this nail set, but there are different ones that I like to use. So you apply the matte top coat, you cure it for 60 seconds, and then you're ready to start your chrome design. So I take the black gel and I do my chrome design, cure that for 60 seconds, and then once it comes out of the lamp, I apply my chrome powder. If you want to add a little bit of extra embellishments on top of your chrome designs just to give them a more 3D look, once you apply the chrome powder and wipe off the excess, then you can go in with more black gel and create those little like studded dots on top of everything. Cure that for 60 seconds, apply your chrome again, wipe the excess, and then you top coat it, and that is the finished look for the thumb. Now, if you have an extreme 3D type of nail art with chrome, you want to make sure that you really lock that in. So I like to go with a base coat and then a top coat on top just because it protects the chrome from wearing off or chipping. Okay, now let's talk about the pointer nail. Anything with a marble design has my heart. I absolutely love it. The base of this nail is the same as the thumbnail without the extra dark perimeter around it. So you do one coat of the smoky black pat gel, cure it, then you do a matte top coat. It doesn't have to be the specific matte top coat that I mentioned before. It could be any matte top coat. So you apply your matte top coat, cure it, and then once it comes out, I use this alcohol ink. Alcohol ink is what the product is called, but the specific brand that I use is called Dime Nails, and they call this product their Marble Queen ink. The specific shade that I used is Utopia, which is like their black ink with a gray undertone, which I am absolutely obsessed with. And I do have a couple of in-depth tutorials on how I do my marble designs, but basically you apply the alcohol ink across the nail however you want to see like the marble effect going. So I usually do one zigzag, the next, and then the next going down the whole nail. Then you take a Marble Queen brush. Now, can you use any brush for this type of design? Technically, yes, you can, but I specifically love the Marble Queen brush because its shape is specifically designed for marble designs. So the way that it like spreads out on the nail gives you that beautiful fanning effect, while the point of the brush gives you those harsh, stark lines. It's just, you have to play around with it to really understand how it works, but it is literally gold. I love it. So basically you apply the ink wherever you want to see it on the nail, and then you take the brush, you dip it in acetone, and you will have to continue to dip it in acetone throughout the process of this design. Whenever you dip it in acetone, you do want to drain a little bit out because if you have too much acetone in your brush, it will flood the nail and the ink will just run everywhere and it'll be a disaster. But you also want enough acetone in the brush to be able to move the ink around on the nail. I genuinely don't have a rhyme or reason for how I do this design. I literally just, it's been a play with it and figure it out type of thing for me, and I've been loving it. So then after that, I let it dry down. It only needs a couple of seconds, and then you go in with a base coat just to lock in that marble design. And then we do our chrome powder resistant matte top coat again because we're going in with another chrome design, which I use the same black gel for. You cure the matte top coat, do your little chrome design, cure it, apply the chrome powder, you know the steps after that. And that's pretty much how I did that nail. Now moving on to the middle finger, I use this specific cat eye with a black base underneath, but unfortunately the website that I got it from is no longer selling it. it. They don't have the singles and they don't have the collection either. Basically, I think you're just gonna have to look it up on Google and go with a trusted third-party source that you can find. Sorry about that. As for the snake tutorial, I'm gonna make that in a separate video because it will add just like 3 minutes to this video. This is already gonna be long enough. So I will have a separate tutorial video for how I do my flexible silicone molds. So stay tuned for that. After I made the snake, I applied it with like charm glue on the nail and top coated it, and that was literally it. The ring finger is literally the same process as the thumb and the pointer. It's the same base color, and it's the same way I do all of my other chrome designs. And then the heart in the middle is just the black chrome gel, not chromed. And then the pinky is the same base again, and then black blooming gel on top, which you just apply the blooming gel, don't cure it. And then you take a black gel polish. Make sure that it's not too thick, because I find that too thick of a gel polish makes blooming a little bit harder than it needs to be. I use the Kiara Sky black gel polish. Basically, you just apply it into the wet blooming gel and you just let it spread out, and then you cure it. It's so beautiful and so easy. Obsessed. And then I do the chrome proof matte top coat, cure it, do my little chrome designs. Same process as the other chrome designs on this nail set. And that is how I turned this AI photo into an actual real life nail set, and what you should expect if you were to bring that to your nail tech.